Wendell Stephen, Richard Ragobarsingh. We got Ruben in the mix somewhere, so don't forget him. He's a sensitive kind of guy. My name is Steve Khan. We'll keep you company until 9 o'clock this morning. All right? Let's get into the WT, see what's happening traffic wise on our highways and on our byways. See what's going on there. Let's start out in the east as you make your way westbound. Trin City towards Uwe. And then it's pretty much clear. A little volume up by Aranguez until you get into Port of Spain just by NP and Bagwan. You're going to get some traffic there heading into Port of Spain. Nothing out to the west. Let's head down San Fernando, because down there have plenty tempo. Nothing to tell you about. Nope, nothing. Taking a look at the Solo, Rivulet Road, nothing. Chase Village to Sugar Gornas. That main road is pretty clear. Then Charlieville towards Carney. You've got some traffic there. I'm not seeing any accidents, so that's a good thing. All right. It is 26 degrees at both Piarco International Airport and Crown Point in Tobago. What's the weather going to be like for our Twin Island Republic? Generally, sunny conditions would be interrupted at times by partly cloudy spells with light to moderate showers. There is a medium, which is 40%, chance of heavier showers or isolated thunderstorms over a few areas, mostly settled night, despite the lingering shower. Gusty winds, street and flash flooding are possible near heavy downpours. All right, maximum temperature forecast for Piarco and Crown Point, 32 and 31. All right, and let's check some temps across our listenership as we enter the weather. It is 16 degrees and sunny in Toronto. Yep, you're going up to a high of pretty much 28 degrees, 29 by 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock this afternoon. Wow. Miami, you're at 25. Orlando, 22. New York, 11 and sunny. Atlanta, you're at 19, got a little cloud. 15 in London, 23 in Tampa, 11 in Washington, D.C. All right, so that's some temps across our listenership. Let's see who sent us hellos first thing this morning. First off the gate, we got Ken E. Good morning to you, Kenny. Trevor Rima, Garth Cillier, Oliver Man Warren, DX. Haven't heard from you in a while. DJ Ray, not in Tampa, but in Delaware. Maria Marva, Miss Ingrid in Tucson, Arizona. Wendy Ann, Trini in Boston. Sankofa, Rena Boodoo Jennings, rise and shine. Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. It's Hump Day Wednesday, short week. That's right, Ray. D. Pierre, good morning. Carol here. Oh, Carol again. Carol Guevara, it's Hump Day. Dennis, good morning. And DJ Sleepy, good morning. All right, thank you so much, guys, for sending us a message. Let's say good morning going out to Paul Richards. What's happening, my friend?
Morning, Steve. Morning, everyone.
Morning. What's happening?
It's interesting. Year's almost half through already.
Pretty much.
Year's
kind of start of the hurricane season starts tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. For those that are driving in a Port of Spain via Lady Young Road, I forgot to tell you, there is a landslide on Lady Young Road between the walkover and the lookout. All right, and that little stretch as you go up or down, there is a landslide there. The authorities are aware of it, and we're working to clear that up shortly. Okay, so I just thought I'd tell you that. Yes, how was your holiday yesterday?
I slept most of the day.
You know, I got up at noon yesterday. My eyes opened up at 9, and that was it.
Very lazy day for me.
Yeah, I had some stuff to do, but boy, I just couldn't wake up.
I got up. I can't sleep past the day, but I just ended up just lazing around the day. Didn't do anything productive.
Yeah, I didn't.
Read a bit.
I didn't do much.
A bit of reading.
Yeah, woke up at 12, went to bed at 1, woke up again at 3. I don't know. Wendell Stephen, good morning to you.
What about hotelish too?
Morning, gentlemen. Morning, Steve. Morning, Paul. Morning, Richard. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers.
Good morning. Where in the world are you right now?
I'm still in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay. All right.
Still in Fort Lauderdale. I'll be back on Friday, God willing.
Oh, you're back on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Someone sent me a picture yesterday of a Caribbean Airlines flight from Port of Spain to Cuba.
Okay.
It only had two people on the aircraft.
Wow.
Two people. I said,
From
wait,
where?
Well,
from Port of Spain to Cuba.
they all here in Fort Lauderdale because I went to a Cuban restaurant yesterday and
Oh, that's some good food.
Well, I mean, Cuba. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
Florida.
yeah,
Come
they
on.
all here. So,
Yeah.
Hmm.
so
I know about all, but quite a few.
what? In their hundreds of thousands.
So
Trust
much
me.
so that when you pass, that's why I hate Miami International. They talk a couple of times they want to talk Spanish. I said, "You are in America. Speak out English, American. No habla inglés. Listen, no habla English. You shouldn't be working here and speaking English. You better get somebody who speaks English.
But
No
they are
habla English saying in the airport. Come on. In
Yeah.
America,
You go
no.
into Dolphin Mall and all the reps is Spanish. They speak Spanish.
yeah.
Well, not much different in some stores in Trinidad and Tobago.
True. True.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for Google Translate.
And when this double palm have translation now,
I don't know. I suspect. I would imagine Double Palm doing everything now.
bienvenido, ¿cómo estás? Cuando horas te quiero? Cuando horas te quiero?
Fill in the blanks. You come here to do what?
No, ¿cuántas horas
How many hours?
te
You want?
quiero? Do you want? How many hours do you want? Or something like that.
Yeah, how many hours you want? Yeah.
Yes, sir? Do you want additional services with your room? Or did you bring your own services? How's your day in the US, Wendell?
Yesterday was pretty good. It wasn't a holiday, but it was the day after a holiday, so it was quiet. It was a quiet day yesterday.
I'm going to say something probably much to the consternation of other people, but this is just my experience. That you find when you land in some external cities, you just get a sense of peace.
Yeah, it happens to me even when I just go to Tobago. Once I leave Trinidad, I just my
You
face
just
and all.
you do this.
You
Your
see,
anxiety levels just go down.
yeah, you see my face and all looking kind of rosy, and I'm eating much more than I
Wouldn't
was
go
when
that
I
far,
leave.
but you do look more relaxed.
Yeah. It happens all the time. It happens all the
Yeah,
time.
you get your anxiety levels reduced, and you just feel okay. I could breathe a little bit.
Yeah,
And as you land back in Piaco,
yeah.
That's it.
The stress starts.
the stress levels fly up. Your hypervigilance activates. You're looking for the next thing. It's just I don't know. It's strangest. Well, not a strange phenomenon. We know why.
No,
Unfortunately.
which is why I use the opportunity to run away anytime I get.
Yeah, me
Because
too.
it's the only time I sleep properly. It's the only time I relax. You know?
I have sleeping problems, but you relax more.
Nah, I have sleeping problems. Trust me.
You mean
And
no that?
I sleep well whenever I travel. I sleep very well. You know. But let me do my birthday greetings. My daughter Shiris is celebrating her birthday today. Brian James is celebrating his birthday today. Brian is a regular listener and blogger. Bobby Rogers, Bobby Rogers, yes. She's my neighbor. She works with the EBC. So we might want to speak with her. Last time she had set up an interview with us with Miss Fern Narciscope. So happy birthday, Bobby. Gabrielle Diffenthaler, of course, you all will all know her. That's
Sister of Cass.
Kess's sister. Fahad Khan Surozai, he is celebrating his birthday today. Nagida Bloom and Giselle Thorne Lawrence. Oh, also Marlon Pierre. Marlon Pierre is a young man from Upsangi Grande area. I think he used to be on 91.9 or something like that. He's a DJ. He's a DJ. So
All
No
right.
businessman. No businessman.
yeah, he's a businessman, right?
Yeah, running a supermarket and stuff. Simon has done quite well.
Yes. He has a
And a
supermarket.
food place he does food catering to.
You're absolutely right. So happy birthday, Marlon. Very nice.
Happy birthday, Marlon. I
Very
just have
nice guy.
one.
Very, very nice guy.
I just have one, my good friend Russell Chan celebrating his birthday today. And today is also International Flight Attendants Day.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, my daughter is not a flight attendant, but she works with American Airlines.
You find so frequently.
But
Body
yeah,
parts.
I get that kind of special now.
Well, you deserve it. You're a good father.
Yeah. Belated birthday greetings to Parvati Lachmidial. I know that she listens to us, and she has reached out to me on more than one occasion. So
I find you just dropped over a compliment just like that, and you didn't really absorb it and acknowledge it.
Which one?
I said you're a good father.
Oh yeah.
And I think that men who are good fathers need to be commended because there's so many absent fathers. And you are not one of them.
Yeah, a lot.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Trust me.
You did not just drop your seed and disappear.
Mature and don't let me forget it.
Well, I mean, it's not an easy thing, parenthood, and men will stay around them because women generally do it and take care of their children and raise them and provide support, not only money. Need to be commended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So happy
Because
birthday.
no matter how old they get, they still run to you with everything wrong.
True. Because my children are all adults, and trust me, they, as I say, they're still my children.
You don't need anyone else in your life. You have your children.
Eh?
You don't need anyone else. You have all the love you
Not
need.
a single soul.
You could go to Amsterdam for your occasional entertainment services.
Oh, let me do another birthday greeting to Kevin Williams. Special birthday greetings to Kevin Williams, and that's coming from Sankofa. I will imagine it's a friend. All right, so happy birthday to all you May people. Tomorrow, of course, is the start of June, so we get up in the morning and say rabbit, rabbit. I have lots of birthdays in June too, boy. Whoa.
Do you really?
2 holidays.
And 2 holidays.
Corpus Christi
Our
is
condolences to the family and colleagues of PC Tristan Williams, who was just 26 years old. Oh my God.
I saw those pictures.
26 years old. I mean, the most horrific car crash you could think of at 6:15 yesterday morning.
But you know, I was wondering about that accident because just before there, and it's been like this for decades, and I've spoken about this to various ministers of works and transport, is that when it rains, there is a stream of water that runs across the highway. You know, at 6:15, I don't know if it rained, but I don't know if at that hour, if it did rain and water was streaming across, he would have hydroplaned. Because that water is a strong streamer, and it just runs right across the highway.
It's really tragic. He's such a young person.
The article was a little misleading though, because I think the headline said high-speed chase. Because he's a police officer, right?
I didn't get high-speed chase. I just
didn't get high-speed chase.
I saw that. I think I saw that on social media. High-speed chase.
There were a few accidents yesterday. A car flipped by a Rango. One ran off the road. Yeah, there were a few accidents, including in the arrival day. You know.
Well, you know.
Yeah, condolences to that young officer.
Yeah. It was
26 years old. You know, he's 26.
Yeah.
Life now start.
Yeah. And he would have hit, both his legs would have been severed in the crash, eh?
And he was alive even after that, apparently.
And he was still alive, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really, really tragic. That is really what was really, really sad to read about that last night.
Yeah. So our partner sent it to me earlier in the day with no caption. And I'm saying, where and what is this? You know? And then I looked and I saw it on social media that a young police officer had lost his life, you know, that same morning. I said, wow, terrible. So condolences to his family. Was it Tristan Francis?
Tristan Williams.
Williams, yeah. From the IATF.
Yeah, with the agency task force.
Yeah.
In other news, of course, Mrs. Pasabi says that the leader of the opposition is calling for questions to be placed at the feet of former Commissioner McDonald Jacob regarding the abduction of Brent Thomas from Barbados. Interesting new development. Twist.
Okay, well, I think we had kind of opined, and let me don't say confirmed, that it happened before Mrs. Christopher became
But
commissioner.
are we sure about that?
Do you even know when it happened?
Because I remember Dr. Rudal Mundan in the last JSC we had directly asked Mrs. Harewood Christopher if she gave the order, and she just said the report is ongoing, I can't see, or something of that nature. The answer was very nebulous. She didn't confirm that she was the person who, you understand, who gave the authorization for it. It was very nebulous, with a
Okay.
kind of smirk, my interpretation.
All right.
You know? So what's the big deal? I mean, is the report, as a matter of fact, she did say a report was forthcoming in 2 weeks, a written report.
Yes,
And that
I
two
heard
weeks
that.
that
I
2
heard
weeks
that.
has now elapsed.
It has elapsed already?
Yes, it's not last Wednesday, it's Wednesday or Tuesday before we had the JSC. So it should, yeah. Elapsing this week anyway.
This week. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see how that goes. What's the latest with local government though? I didn't follow the debate.
The bill passed to the House, it goes to the Senate this afternoon.
Okay. All right.
And Mrs. Bissessa is calling on getting international observers.
For what?
Which I suggest for the elections. What's wrong with that? Which I suggest give me the subject for our question this morning.
Yeah.
But haven't they always asked for international observers for elections here in Trinidad? Even though our elections have a history of being free and fair?
Yeah.
Has not always been a call?
Quite possibly, but I see nothing wrong with the call.
Opposition. So okay, if that's what they want, I don't think it's a problem.
Neither do I. We've never had an issue with one or two probably seats where they have recounts and a challenge or two, but generally our elections have been very, very well executed.
Especially local elections. I don't think we've ever had any issue in local elections. You know? Okay, well. Mrs. Prasad Bissessa, I saw an article that I didn't get the article, but I saw a post from her about her concerning some comments she might have made for Indian Arrival Day. I have to try to get the post. It came from News Source, who's Rhoda. So I was trying to actually get what it was she said that I rated so many people on that post, on that link.
Was it sponsored? Was it sponsored?
I don't know. But it was a News Source post.
You said it came from News Source. That's what it was sponsored.
I don't get posts directly from News Source because I'm not.
But I'm being mischievous, man. Come on.
I know you are being mischievous, so I'm not trying to ignore you. but I don't get posts directly from News Source. But people repost it, and I saw it, and I found it interesting. I also found interesting a post also coming from News Source about some things tributes that Barry Parrott would have made to people on East Indian Arrival Day, and apparently the UNC is guilty of downplaying even the birthday of Basdeo Pandey. I understand nobody even said publicly from the UNC happy birthday to Basdeo Pandey. You understand? On his 90th birthday, which was last week. None of the MPs said anything about it. You understand? And that, of course, to me, how could you have tributes on Indian Arrival Day and not even talk about your founding leader, first East Indian Prime Minister that we've had, Basdeo Pandey, regardless of what you think? How could you not pay tribute to him? How could you not pay tribute to the Capildeos? Huh? How could you not pay tribute to Adrian Kola Rienzi? Huh? How is that possible? And
they didn't pay tribute to any of those persons.
They didn't. VS Naipaul, they didn't. You understand?
I can't say so, I don't know.
And the post went on to say, well, all right, you could understand they're not calling Kamaluddin Mohammed and Errol Mahdi a name because they were associated with the PNM. But Shah Mohammed, the first man who
so because you're associated with a particular political party, even though you've made a significant contribution, it means that it eliminates you from mention of noteworthiness because of your contribution
No,
to
I'm saying
Trinidad and Tobago.
that was the opinion in the post. The opinion in the post was that, okay, even if you don't want to pay tribute to them, at least the others, Pastor Pandey and all the other names that I called.
I'm not even letting the political allegiance excuse slide. If you've contributed, you've contributed, no matter your political allegiance. You cannot not, I don't care who it is, you cannot not congratulate Mrs. Pastor Bissessa for what she's achieved as the first female Prime Minister of East Indian descent. You understand?
Yeah.
In the same way you can't. So I don't understand, because some of the Muhammad brothers were peeing and you won't congratulate them and thank them for the contribution. Those things, I do let them slide.
Yeah.
I can't accept them as we should be going down that road.
Well, they went down that road.
Yeah.
You understand? They went down that road. What am I right about them? Yes, I know, Ruben, thank you. I know I saw the headline saying cop killed in high speed crash. And I didn't understand that. I didn't understand how they would have said high speed crash.
Have they found the missing person yet in Trinidad and Tobago?
Which one?
Fali. Or should I say the silent person?
I tried
Because
calling him
he
one
wasn't
day.
missing, he wasn't missing, he was silent. He's still silent.
Well, yeah.
Has he spoken out about the audio tape, or does he think it'll go away?
9 days.
Not at all. Not at all. I spoke to somebody who we all know. Good morning, Mr. Ragobarsingh.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Rich.
Who is of senior counsel of many, many years, whose name I shall not call.
Hey, look Richard and Blue all there.
Who is a former independent senator.
All they saying this?
Quite, yeah. Welcome to Blue. Welcome to Richard and Blue.
Richard don't wear blue. Richard
Really?
only wears black.
Go ahead, Paul.
So, and he was of the opinion that he doesn't understand how Mr. Augustine could be one, silent, and two, still in that job.
Who said that?
I'm not going to call the person's name in a private conversation.
Oh, okay. All right.
I gave enough hints already. Come on.
No, well, maybe I
I
was.
said he's of senior counsel vintage and a former independent senator. Do the maths.
Oh, okay.
And he said the audio tape is clearly him, in his opinion. And it's astounding that he thinks silence is an option under those circumstances. And continuing in the position given what was said. As everybody has said.
Yeah.
So I don't know how, in the absence of a outright denial it's me, or an acceptance it's me and some sort of apology or some sort of explanation, Mr. Augustine can go on any platform leading up to any election and talk about integrity in public office and new politics. You understand? And if in any way, and I'm saying that in the context of, in the absence of an outright denial that it is him, as is being alleged from everybody who hear it, quite frankly. I ain't hear nobody say they don't think it's him.
Right.
Or I say, on acceptance, it is me. But this is the explanation, and this you all didn't hear the whole thing. Maybe he was staying down the road at the end of the tape. I don't want to tell you to do that.
Again,
I know that is the old way. That's the way they do the past, but I don't want us to go that way. Maybe the end of the tape has that in it. I'm not stretching here, but you know, maybe you all didn't hear the start of the tape where I said we are going on a different road. This is how they're doing it. They did it before. They bring in people in the assembly in jobs to do propaganda, and we will pay them. And at the end of the tape that we didn't hear, that's not how we're doing it. Maybe that's the explanation.
Somebody sponsor you to give Fadi an idea or what? I don't want you.
I'm looking at it from all angles, sir.
I know. I just did it.
You know, I'm trying to give him the majestic benefit of the doubt. Or possibly AI take my voice and make it sound like me.
And that
But it's not already me, it's AI.
Yeah.
It's artificial intelligence. They put my voice through an artificial intelligence program and make it sound like me, purporting to use public funds under false pretenses. Maybe it's that too. So I get two activate two out there, two potential out.
Yeah.
Or is me.
Yeah. The third out is that I was practicing for the next play for our production.
Richard Ragobarsingh, and we were going for a potential scene scenario.
Right. That's it.
Because I thought they generally do it and we are practicing a scene.
Right. And I know Richard and them coming to Tobago just now. So
Tobago this weekend for
auditioning.
This little piggy is tired. So we're on at Shore Park in Tobago. The countdown has begun at Shore Park.
And they give me a cameo and I have to get ready for the...
We have not been to... Theatre has not happened in Tobago, at least coming from Trinidad for years. Years upon years upon years. So we are there this weekend, Tobago, from 8:30 p.m. at Shore Park Complex. Of course, tickets are available at Shore Park Complex. And of course, tickets are also available at Yellow Butterfly Art Gallery in Milford Road in Scarborough and Jade Monkey in Milford Road, Crown Point, as well as Pablo Supermarket in Roxborough. So you have all these manner of places where you can get tickets from. And I mean, the response to this play has been, terrific. So terrific that so many people are asking us to come back to South that we're considering going back to San Fernando.
Have you sent an official invitation to the Honorable Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly and his wife?
No.
You should consider doing it.
I'm sure. Well, most theaters have what you call board seats.
Okay.
So you can't sell all seats in a theater anywhere. There are always seats reserved for whoever. And I assume in a Shore Park complex position, there'll be seats for THA members, etc., etc.
So he may make an appearance in the play or in the audience.
Well, he's not in the play at all.
Right? So we just see may have been practicing in the audience.
And I had to call Kyle because I had to change my flight. So, there's a $50 charge, which is fine. And then, but to pay the $50, you have to either go into a Kyle ticket office. You cannot do it online.
In 2023.
You can't do it online?
No, you have to give your credit card information over the phone, including the CVV number. So I'm telling the guy.
What did Paul say?
Paul said, who does that anymore? I said, that's an 80s or early 90s thing. I said, how could Kyle expect you to give all of your information over the phone to somebody I don't know?
Don't know.
I said, that's ridiculous. Why would you not be able to pay for a change of ticket online? How difficult is that to implement? In addition to that, he's telling me, oh, your name might be misspelled, so that's another $50. I said, what?
What?
I said, my name is not misspelled. Because he went through the spelling of my name. No, but it looked as if your name had to be corrected. It looked like it. Your name had to be corrected. So that's another $50, $100. I said, what about a piper airline or what?
Clearly it sounds that way. The way they try to drag $50 out to $100 out to you.
I said, what happened? Is a piper airline car running? I said, no, I am not $100. So
it's not that. It is that. Remember, they just had to pay Masham and $1.2 million.
I don't.
For the campaign, so they're trying to make it back up.
He called me. He said he'll have to check on that one, and he did call me back and said, no, the change of name, not the change of, yes, the misspelling of the name, or which we are not seeing from our side at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not misspelled, and so he said, no, that cost was waived.
So maybe he misunderstood. Maybe he can't spell, and you got to pay for that.
I don't know where that came from.
So Richard, if you had listened carefully to the instructions of the Carl agent, you would have understood carefully that you must pay this.
Behave yourself and let Jesus love you.
Important
let Jesus love you now.
You listen carefully and follow the instructions precisely.
Behave yourselves and let God love you all.
Good morning, Dion.
Without reservations. Let him love you all without reservations.
I don't wait and see it.
So it was. But anyway, it was resolved, so at least I gave my $50.
Yeah, but as Paul said, in 2023.
I mean, come on.
Really?
And anyone will tell you, anyone who asks you for that three-digit number
CVV,
that
yeah.
verifies your card information on the phone. You should hang up on them one time.
One time. I'm not giving that out.
Why would I give you that number and you have my credit card number already to
Yeah,
give
my
you
name.
options to go online and use the card for any myriad number of things. Look, and quite frankly, if an official card agent is asking you for that, that should be reported.
But if
Because they should not be asking you for that on the phone.
But if you're booking a flight, I don't think you have a choice, you know. If you're booking it over the phone, you have a choice, you know.
So you can't go on CAR's website and book a ticket directly and put in your information yourself?
You can, and you have that option.
But that's why the option of giving somebody
Not to
a
pay
human...
$50.
But if
Not
you,
to pay
if
that
you-
$50 change fee. No, there's no way on because I went online first.
So they couldn't put a tab and say change time? There's no option for that?
No, there is nothing like that.
No.
There is
You have to
nothing
pay.
like that.
You have to pay the $50. You can't get away from it.
No,
But
the issue is not paying for the $50, you know. The issue is the option of not giving out that kind of information
on the
to
phone,
a human being.
no, you have to. You
don't have to. You can swim or take a boat.
Well, if you don't, then they're not gonna book you. They're not gonna do the booking process.
Yeah, or you could go into a ticket office.
Yeah, right. You could do that too.
Which
And
is the
the
safer
ticket
thing to do, but it's inconvenient in many
Yeah,
cases.
you gotta find parking.
But the ticket office is in the parking.
Yeah, but it's the same that same thing applies for all airlines. If you're doing it over the phone, you have to give them the credit card number, you have to give them the expiry date, and you have to give them the CWC number.
Well, for some North American airlines, if you call to book a flight, they will tell you have to go online.
Right.
If
So
you
that's
decide to say, well, listen, I have no internet or whatever the case may be, there is a fee attached to booking online, booking via telephone.
yeah, it's cheaper online anyway.
Well, it's
All
free
I'll
right.
ask you a
online.
simple question. What do the banking institutions tell you in their PSAs regarding online credit card fraud all the time?
Don't
Do
disclose that
not
number.
give your information to anyone on the phone.
Yeah, but some of the that's why I said most of these, if not all of these organizations, have an online option, and you can do it there safely. You understand? But once you're doing it on the phone, that's what they ask for. You have to trust it. You have to trust them. I do it all the time.
And that was my problem, Wendell, because I went online first. And I said, oh, Carl is savvy, you know, Carl has a big online presence. I should be able to pay. So when I enter the booking number online, I expected to see something come up that says $50 due as a result of change of date or whatever. And I could just pay here. Click, 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 enter information, click, bam, done.
But if you're going to manage your booking, you're not seeing it there?
No.
Okay. Well, I don't know how the
You're
Tobago
not
thing
seeing
works.
for at least this is specifically for a Trinidad and Tobago situation, maybe, or maybe an international flight you could do it.
You can.
Richard, did you ask the attendant if you could go online and do it?
And he told me no, I could only do it over the phone, or I have to go to a ticket office.
Your ticket office.
So that number I called them after I realized, well, where online can I do it? I'm not seeing it online. So I said, maybe I'm missing something, so let me call them. And that's how he told me, no, you can't do it online. And that's when I started my first thing.
Well, that's a flaw they have to fix. Maybe
And I'm saying, but that's archaic. Why would you have a big online presence? And that's a simple transaction.
Yeah, that's a flaw they have to fix. And I'm sure they can, because it's under the caption manage your booking, where you can change your date, you can change your arrival time. You could do that under manage your booking.
On an international flight, not Tobago.
Yeah, well, they had to fix that.
And it's not giving you the option to pay. Because I asked him, I said, can't I do it online? But I'm just not seeing where I can. And he says, to pay the $50. He said, no, you have to pay it over the phone, or you have to go to a ticket office. And then we have the other thing about the other $50, which skewed my line quite my airline. I must come
You have
across
to say congratulations to you have to say congratulations to Al Pacino.
His
He's
80th
82 years old.
82.
And expecting a baby with his 29-year-old girlfriend must have been love at first sight.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Love is lovely.
Aligned with one of my partners yesterday who listens to the show every morning. Good morning, Wayne. Wayne Ramsey. He lives out here in Florida now.
Why are you making Trinidad 82 years old?
That is none of your business.
Well, why can't you? If you
That
can,
is
you
none
can.
of your business. And science is not that far away from reversing aging.
That's the beauty of manhood too, eh? Men can do that. Women can't.
That sounds a little bit chauvinistic.
Well, women can too if you get a surrogate for your egg to carry the child.
Well, that's
Take a little more effort, but
okay. But
Love is lovely, Paul. Love is lovely.
he's 82. When that child is 20,
82
he'll be
people not
102.
supposed to love. 82-year-old people not supposed to love.
I didn't say so you could love me. That I'm not trying to be
There's
that.
a lot of
Love what
judgment
you got to
in
make
your
it true.
tone. There's a lot of judgment in your tone and facial expression.
Richard, I'm assuming you're substituting a word with the word love.
What? No, love is lovely. In its
I don't
purest-
know why. I don't know why I feel you was being mischievous when you said so. 82-year-olds not supposed to love.
Yes. No.
Is that what you meant?
Hi,
No.
good morning, guys.
They could have all the sex they want. They shouldn't be having no child. No man should be having no child at 82 years old. Sorry.
You are out
My
of
opinion.
place.
Yes, you are Paul out of place. You are.
Good morning, caller. I was hearing a voice.
Oh, sorry. I'm downloading a video to share with you.
I thought somebody was on the line. You know.
I thought so too. I thought somebody was calling us.
Yeah, because it said good morning. So I thought it was somebody.
What you doing there that having people saying good morning already? What you downloading there? What mischievousness you up to now? Look at his face, Richard. You could see
I
mischievousness.
saw it. Yes, yeah.
Now, let me give a little preface to this video. It's really in two parts. But it's an elderly woman who spent 3 years in ICU after she was attacked and robbed and at gunpoint by an 11 and a 13-year-old in her words.
In where?
You'll see.
See her, and she was telling me what happened to her. So let me know in a short nutshell what really happened.
I was in a susu wrong Lavanti,
Right.
and I was going to tell the woman that I didn't have the money to give her the susu that weekend.
Right.
I bring the money the next weekend. And apparently, like, they thought I had get the money.
Right.
So I was coming out of Lovell Place and Alexander Place, they ambushed me.
Wow.
Yeah, they grabbed the bag and they asked me where the money. I said, money. I said,
Yeah.
well, I don't have any money.
Right.
They say, where the susu money? And they dragged me to an old abandoned house,
Right.
carry me below the house. And the smaller one, which is 11 years. he
11
says
years old?
11 and 13.
Wow.
The
That's
smaller
not
one.
So that's part one of the video.
Mm-hmm.
She ended up indicating that one was 11 and one was 13 years old. The injury she sustained lodged her in ICU for 3 years.
Were they arrested for her to?
I don't know. The
know the
interview didn't
ages?
go on to say.
So how did she know the ages?
She just looked at them and she said, yeah,
Okay.
but clearly they were very young looking,
Okay.
Isn't that astounding?
No.
Yeah, it is.
It is to me, and I know why Wendell says no, because we know that the criminals are people are committing criminal acts from a much younger age all the time. Not so,
Yes.
but I could never just become accustomed to that, honestly. I just can't. I mean, even if she's off by a year or 2 or 3, 11 and 13, you understand? Because we've had reports recently of 15 and 16-year-olds being involved with criminal acts involving guns. And
Did you play that video with the one with the Arima Church?
That's a skit,
I
right?
do think it's a
Oh,
real
it was
thing.
a skit.
It is yes, it was a
Yeah.
skit. People who were actually at the church messaged me on Facebook because I put up a post on Facebook telling people it's a skit.
Because you
And-
said it was a skit in the group, but I wasn't sure if you were being serious or if you were being
No, I was dead
facetious,
serious.
saying, well, that have to be a skit. I thought that's what you meant.
No, it was a skit that the church would have, because I mean, I don't know if you all have ever seen a very popular play in church. It's called Heaven's Gate, Hell's Fire, where it is people changing around their lives after doing all manner of things, right? So it was a skit that the church was doing, and this is my interpretation of it, because as I say, a gentleman messaged to say he was actually there, and it was a skit, right? To say that, to how people, the type of young people committing crime, and eventually, I guess if you had gone on to see further, you would have seen where their lives would have been impacted upon by the blood of Jesus Christ, and they would have changed their lives around. You understand?
But it didn't go that long.
No, it didn't, because somebody in the audience taped that part of it alone and put it out there, right? Without putting an indication that it is a skit that is happening in the church. And churches do these things all the time. They do role plays.
Yeah, that's true.
To show how people change around their lives and so on. Churches do that all the time, you know? So it went viral. And I had to come on Facebook yesterday because people start now telling the church, why the church portraying that? I said, but what is wrong with these people? Don't they know that these things are normal things in churches? That they
Yeah, that's a normal thing in the church.
show you how people change their lives and so on? Come on. We would have interviewed people who would have been involved in crime already and changed around their lives and now in church. We did that on the Power Breakfast Show on occasion. You know, but people get upset with everything now. It's just like bad news. They just thrive on bad news now. And it was annoying me. I said, you see me, I taken a break from Facebook. Because
6:47. Who has papers?
Richard will answer.
No, I don't. I don't have papers today.
Okay. You have to do the online.
Yeah, I don't have papers today.
Let's roll in.
I'm in time.
All right. Well, let's say good morning, good night to Ray, Michael Gradison, DS Lips Celeste. She loves you, Richard. H.S. Wilson. I was there. It was a skit. Okay.
All right. It's the 31st of May, final day of May, Wednesday, 2023. Let's start with the Guardian Online. Justice C. Prasad fears current path TNT is on. Paradise in peril. Little Umar given clean bill of health following abduction. Thank God his child was found. Mom angry at relative who snatched child. Tanku bashes those who have quit UNC. Heights of Aripo residents complain about bad roads. Experts warn against militarized approach to fighting crime. Food franchises ready to talk with minister on healthy menu options. Actually, always talk about that. And Pastor Dottin says youth crying out for change. Let's move now to the Express Online for today. Big turnout for Kiz's funeral. Fixed constitution, says High Court Judge Frank C. Prasad. Call for probe at heliport. David couple goes to lab until to sell TV gets robbed. Cop killed in high-speed crash. Wendell, you're right. No shame, the government found itself in a quandary in the House of Representatives as words uttered in Parliament in 2019 came back to haunt them. Mrs. Prasad says it was in fire reform last Friday. She gave a chronology of events, including now Minister of Local Government, then Attorney General, whose words she threw back at him. And she said Forrest was right. Mayor PNM confident about chances in the election. That's your mayor, Joel Martinez.
Okay.
And Forrest and Saddam trade blows on Friday. The president hails TNT as a most amazing nation. Let's move now to the Newsday Online. Damian Lider, property taxes will make it too hard to do business. Tobago accident victims to get military send-off. Ex-Sorthead cleared to challenge the National Security Ministry. Justice Frank C. Prasad, indentured Indians. Trinidad, paradise in peril. Court gives nod to gun dealers' judicial review of National Security Ministry. Israel Khan still objects to Omero Court as murder trial venue. And stakeholders, St. Jude's home move, an opportunity to reset. So those are trending stories in the Express, Guardian, and Newsday for today, Wednesday, 31st of May, 2023.
All right, let's get the results for our morning poll from Monday, where we asked you, do you think the TTPS should get involved in investigating the Tobago audio recordings? That was our poll on Monday. Results after this.
Furniture Plus has mega mattress deals for you. Shop queen mattresses from as low as $799. Plus, get up to 20% off select Serta and Sealy mattresses with free gifts. Combos, bases, and accessories are also on sale. Check press and social media for details.
All right, do you think the TTPS should get involved in investigating the Tobago audio recordings? The results are in. 65% said yes. All right, let's get into this morning's poll.
So the question this morning stems from Mrs. Salby Sessa's suggestion that international observers should be brought into TNT for local government elections. So do you think international observers should be brought in for local government elections, yes or no?
222-8255 North Americans, toll-free number for you, 866-525-1099.
Hold on now. I now seen on any
message board and on via our mobile app and website and on YouTube as well.
I now seen another story under the same story with this international observers that Dave Tanku, who's the UNC chairman, tell the people who defecting from the UNC that karma will get you. That would have been a good poll too. Do you think karma will get those who have defected from the UNC?
No, Wendell, no. That's not a good poll.
All right, got some calls. Good morning, caller.
That is a short poll.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I've been listening to you guys this morning. I live in the U.S., but right now I'm in Colombia. And two things. I work at the airline. The system where you're talking about the charge when you call for the airline ticket, what I don't think you're all aware of what's going on. Since the COVID, everybody has switched to employing people from home, working commission. So it's not to the airline. If you want to get direct to the airline, you have to do it online. So when you call somebody on the phone, and it's actually going to somebody who's working with the airline, office commission, with a computer at home. Understand?
Okay. All right. Thanks for the info.
For the vote for observers, I say no because all these years Trinidad has done a good job, and when you go to that level, you all of a sudden you kind of disrupt the whole thing and say Trinidadians are not capable of running a proper election. And we have proof that we have done it all these years.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
All
right. Thank you.
Good one.
So that's a no. Richard, you're recording, right?
That's a no. Good morning.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Hi, this is Glenn from Queens. I said yes, international observers should be called in.
All right, Glenn from Queens. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. All right. I got H.S. Wilson saying yes. Good morning to Carol Guevara.
Who is H.S. Wilson?
H.S. Wilson is H.S. Wilson. Good morning, C.J. New York. Stretch says no. Piggy Ray, no, it's not necessary. Mega Mouse, my answer is no. And good morning. Good morning, caller.
Morning, gentlemen. My answer to the question, the poll is no. There's no need. We have free and fair elections through the years of Trinidad and Tobago. So then absolutely no.
All right, thank you so much. All right, 222-8255. Toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099.
All right. Do you agree with opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar that international observers should be called in for all local government elections? Yes or no?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Hell no. Richard, you should do my answer.
Yeah, we already put that voted.
You write it down a long time.
So 222 talk 222-8255, North Americans 866-525-1099, and that's absolutely toll free to you, North Americans. 866-525-1099. People in other parts of the planet 1-868-222 talk 222-8255, and of course people on the web and app. You know what to do. Come on.
Lincoln Francis says no. DS Lip Celeste says, I say no, not necessarily. GB says no to the poll. Thank you, GB. What says you, caller?
Good morning, Grandy. No.
Thank you, Grandy. All right, that's another no. 222-8255. Toll free for North Americans, 866-525-1099.
So do you think Kamala Prasad-Bissessar suggested that international observers should be brought in to observe the local government elections? So do you think that international observers should be brought in for the local government elections? That's our poll this morning. What says you? Usually they're CARICOM observers, I believe.
Yeah.
They always CARICOM observers.
They always carry, because that's part of the responsibility, I think.
Yeah.
To go around the Caribbean observing elections.
Yeah. Junior says no. Jackie says no. Kenny out in Harlem says no to the poll. All right. Just a reminder, if you're going to have Lady Young Road just before the lookout, if you're heading up, if you're heading into Port of Spain, there is a landslide just before the lookout. So be mindful of that.
What are they waiting on to fix that area? I don't know.
Well, I know they started to do some work on it, but yeah. Long Islander says no. Thank you, Long Islander. All right, 2.5 minutes again to vote.
So do you think that international observers should be brought in for the local government elections? Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, the opposition leader, is suggesting that. Do you think that they should be brought in? That's our poll this morning. What do you think? Wherever you are across the planet, we want to know your opinion. So 222 talk 222-8255, North Americans 866-525-1099. Put a one before the vote.
That is such.
And 1-868-222 talk for those of you elsewhere. And of course, people on the web and the app, wherever you are on the web and the app, you could use the messaging portal there.
Yeah.
That is such a strange call for local government election. Is it that PNM could win Couva Tabakit or Pinal Debe or Princestown? No.
Well, you all could hope.
No. I don't. No. It's never going to happen. You understand? So I don't understand. Is it that UNC could win Port of Spain or Diego Martin or Sawa Lavantil? No, it's not going to happen.
You never know.
It's not going to happen.
They could hope.
CJ in New York says no. DJ Sleepy says yes. DJ Ray says no. Carol Guevara says no.
No, if PNM win Pinal Debe in this local government election, I say call them in quick. Real quick.
Marcus G says yes. Garth Celia says yes. All right. You have a minute again to vote.
The only corporation that is always iffy is Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. That's the one that really is iffy and has swung both ways regularly. You understand?
Do you think international observers should be brought in for the upcoming local government elections? Yes or no? You have less than a minute to vote. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Steve. How you doing?
Good, good.
My answer is no. Hi, Wendell.
Hi, morning, Christy.
Morning, who?
Morning, Mrs. R.
Morning. No. Morning, Mr. R.
Afraid to call the other initial.
Thank you. Launch Park says no. Mo Guest says yes.
In 2010, mind you, UNC swept the polls after People's Partnership had came into power in May 2010. In July, there was a local election, and they won 11 out of the 14 corporations, which was an anomaly at the time. I will never forget that time. They won 4 seats in Port of Spain. They won Diego Martin. They won Arima. They won Grandi. They won Tune-Up. They
All
won
right, I got to run. Speaking of run, I got to run to news.
All right, go ahead. Run away.
All right, let's get into it. Evie is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
The UNC calls for international observers of local government elections. Municipal corporations bill goes to the Senate today, and Justice Frank C. Prasad says TNT is on a path to peril. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintil-Bab. Good morning. The opposition leader has written to the Prime Minister requesting international observers be brought into the country for the local government election. Kamla Prasad Basasa, speaking at the UNC Monday Night Forum, defended her appeal for the presence of the foreign observers for the poll. The Member of Parliament for Siparia cited the importance of the election and citizens being able to exercise their franchise.
I have taken the liberty of writing the Prime Minister to request or to call upon him to bring in international election observers for the election.
Today, the Municipal Corporation Extension of Terms Office and Validation Bill 2023 will go to the Senate. It was passed in the House of Representatives on Monday. The bill seeks to validate the work of those aldermen and councillors whose terms of office expired in December 2022 but continued in office until May 18th this year. It also seeks to validate their actions taken or decisions made between December 2nd last year and May 18th, 2023. Another purpose of the bill is to provide local government elections for the year 2023 will be held no later than August 18th, 2023. Trinidad and Tobago is currently hanging close to peril. This is the view of Justice Frank C. Prasad, who also says he feels it is not too late to pull it back, but to do so, both citizens and those in authority need to make urgent changes to some governance structures. He said that crime is out of control. Many are struggling to meet their basic daily requirements, and there exists an unacceptable degree of divisiveness, dishonesty, and disingenuous discourse. He noted that far too often, issues and solutions are no longer addressed or formulated in a rational, logical, or methodological manner. Instead, they are fashioned by considerations of class, ethnicity, lineage, and affiliation. His comment came as he delivered the feature address at the Heritage and Leadership Conference hosted by the Citizen One Foundation at the Passage on Asia in Chaguanas, which coincided with the Indian Arrival Day holiday. C. Prasad said Indian Arrival Day should serve to renew society's resolve to protect and preserve Trinidad and Tobago, a home in which all their forefathers saw tremendous and unlimited potential. He said citizens must stop being delusional and pretending all is well. He stated how persons vote is, with alarming frequency, how they now live. He said persons have become suspicious, unforgiving, mean, irrational, and so divided that they are perched dangerously close to a precipitous edge. The Hindi Foundation has taken note of the contribution and accomplishment of the East Indian community in Trinidad and Tobago. President of the foundation, Chaka Sitaram, speaking at the foundation's annual dinner and award on Tuesday, expressed the hope that strong fundamentals of the movement be passed on to future generations. 13 persons were presented with commemorative awards, 7 in the area of culture, 3 as teachers of Hindi, and 3 as members of the executive.
Language. The reason for the existence of the Hindi Foundation was one of the most precious elements that has influenced the speech of Trinidad and Tobago. And books such as the Ramcharitmanas, the Hanuman Chalisa, are great literary traditions of this language that forms part of the psyche of Trinidad and Tobago.
You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Finally, here's weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, generally sunny conditions will be interrupted at times by partly cloudy to cloudy spells with light to moderate showers. There is a medium chance of the heavier shower or isolated thunderstorm over a few areas. Mostly settled night despite the lingering shower. Gusty winds and street or flash flooding are possible near heavy downpours. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 32 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 31 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it's 27 degrees Celsius at both localities. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, UNC calls for international observers of local government elections. Municipal Corporations Bill goes to the Senate today, and Justice Frank Sipasat says TNT is on a current path to peril. I'm Afril Sintilbab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you so much, Evie, for our major news. Thank you so much. Yeah, of course, we have a news brief coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Quickly, let's take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. Yep, it's beginning to build up out of Mocha, heading straight up towards the roundabout in Maraval. You've got traffic. Lady Young Road, slow going up from Mova Junction. But before the lookout, on that stretch there, you've got some traffic towards lookout. Got a landslide on Lady Young Road. It's not that bad, but there is a landslide there. Let's head east to what's going on by Rima Old Road. You've got some traffic. Piarco, straight up towards Uwe, and then just after QREP, straight into Port of Spain, all right? Traffic again from Monroe Road heading north. You've got traffic on the Solo Rivulet Road is also heavy. San Fernando, lighter than usual. All right? Quick look for you via traffic. Getting back to the program this morning. Gentlemen, I got Mo Guest saying yes, and I've got Leonard Naipaul. Leonard Naipaul says, well, you didn't vote. Okay, you didn't vote, Leonard, but thank you so much for touching base with us. He says rainy weather today and yesterday as well in North Carolina. Okay. All right, so that's it. Let's get the results, gentlemen.
So our poll this morning was, do you think that observers should be brought in, international observers should be brought in for the local government elections? We had 26 people voting in the allotted time. Of the 26 people, 19 of you said no, you do not think international observers are necessary, and 7 of you said yes, they should be brought in. So 19 said no, 7 of you said yes, for a total of 26. Of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, through our programming, and we'll give you the final results tomorrow, which will be Thursday, believe it or not, because today is already midweek in Trinidad and Tobago and everywhere else, unless you're like in Australia. Some part of the world is Thursday already. So yes, and of course, this little piggy is tired is on Tobago. We are on our way. We are in Tobago this weekend for one night only, Saturday at 8:30 p.m. at Show Park Complex. We're so looking forward to it. Our tickets are on sale at the Show Park Complex, so you can get your tickets early there. You could also get your tickets at the Yellow Butterfly Art Gallery in Milford Road in Scarborough, as well as Jade Monkey, which you should know. Jade Monkey in Crown Point, you can get tickets there too, as well as in Pablo's Supermarket in Roxborough. So you have
Paul have a supermarket in Roxborough?
4 different places where you can get tickets. What happened? People in Roxborough had to go Scarborough to shop. That's what you're saying?
No, I'm saying Paul has a supermarket in Roxborough.
Well, maybe.
You don't know?
Pablo Supermarket in Roxborough also has tickets. And people in San Fernando, we are exploring the possibility of coming back to Sapa because we've gotten such fantastic reports from people who have come to the play over the last 3 venues we have gone to. I mean, all venues have had really good responses, but people are really being magnificent. And some are begging us to come back to South. So we are looking at the possibility of coming back to San Fernando.
Clearly, that little piggy not getting tired.
It have stamina.
All right. Well, gentlemen, let's welcome Rishi Maharaj, political analyst. Good morning to you, Rishi. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, guys. I'm fine.
All right. Morning to you. Of course, we asked this morning on our morning poll, do you think international observers should be brought in for the upcoming local government elections, as suggested by leader of the opposition, Kamala Prasad-Bisesa?
Why? I guess would be my first question. I mean, I'm assuming she would be alleging that there may be some attempt at malfeasance and other underhanded ways to, I guess, undermine the credibility of the election in favor of one party over the other. But honestly, I can't see any reason or justification logically as to why you would want to have observers or why observers would see it as important to want to come down for a local government election.
Yeah. Rich, you want to give him the results of the poll? Cameras on, please.
Well, 26 people voted on the poll this morning. 19 people said no, they don't think international observers are necessary. 7 said yes. So
Maybe she thinks in Valmiki, maybe she thinks that PNM has a plan to steal Pinal Debe from the UNC.
I don't know, unless obviously there is the argument that maybe she isn't going to make up the kind of ground that she thinks the party thinks they could make up and win other corporations that they probably haven't won in the past. And she's now trying to, take front before front takes you, as we say, and start to plant in people's minds a reason as to why the election didn't go the way they wanted it to go. So I guess that could be a possible reason for why this is coming out now, because again, we don't know the day of the elections or anything like that. But again, from a local government elections point of view, I honestly, in my mind, cannot think of any reasonable justification as to why observers or why you would bring in observers or something like this.
Rishi, good morning. You said just now for a local government election, is it that we still considering local government elections less important than general elections?
No, I wouldn't say local government elections is less important than general elections. I definitely would not say that or make that argument. I mean, and this is from personal experience because my father, for many years ago, was a local government representative. So I know the work done by local government representatives. I'm not belittling that in any way. But from an international perspective, a general election tends to be more, has more highlight in it internationally in the news and stuff like that. Obviously, it's between local and general. Obviously, general has a little bit more importance in terms of that is general, that direction of the country and who's ever going to put the country in a certain footing. But again, so I'm not belittling local government in any way whatsoever, but I'm just making the point that I think if you're looking at international observers coming in to observe an election, obviously they're coming to observe an election from a particular point of view because they're looking to make sure that everything is done above board, everything follows the regular rules and guidelines and regulations within standards and within the whatever the country laws regulate. I don't think in our history of having elections, although accusations have been made all the time in all previous elections, there has been any credible case that has said that our elections have been rigged or corrupt or in favor of one party or the other. So with all those, I don't see any observers. I remember in observers, you you make a call, and there has to be a reasonable justification by international observers or entities to say, okay, we see maybe there's a justification for this, and we can see the reason for wanting to have observers to ensure that there's a level of transparency and accountability in elections. And I think based on our history, and again, based on, just because of the local...
But we've had haven't we had international observers for general elections before?
We have, and I don't think they've...
Well, if what you say is true, we've had no history of malfeasance in election processes. A couple of challenges here and there, but we've had international observers for a general election. So I don't understand. I don't follow the point of, well, we have a history of free and fair election, but we had it for general, but not local.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had it for local. I think, again, to the point that the local is... it's more from a community-based point of view, and again, not belittling local from general, but I don't think it has that kind of international appeal for observers. Say, okay, we're going to come in to observe your local elections and stuff like that. So I just don't see the reason and justification for wanting to have it.
I can answer that. I can add to that. Let me just add to that quickly, and we mustn't forget our history. We had a situation in this country at one point in time where there were accusations of voter padding concerning general elections. That people's addresses, when they went, it was a lamppost or it was an empty lot of land. We had that here. There was a whole-scale investigation into that. A lot of articles that came out into that. So the justification for it in a general election is fair, but in a local, it's not been an issue.
You know, I hear you. I mean, I hear the argument, and I have no issue either way. If you want to bring international observers, bring them. If you don't want to bring them, I have no issue. What I will say is democracy is a fragile thing, and as we can see around the world, even in the United States.
Yeah.
So therefore, you always have to be vigilant. I will always say that. You will always have to be vigilant.
And I follow Richard's
international observers unnecessary for local government elections. It's neither here nor there with me. If people want to bring it, if international observers want to come.
Yeah.
If you don't want to come, don't come.
Right.
That's what I am.
Richie, we have a situation in Trinidad and Tobago where we want local government elections to be taken more seriously. There's a whole new local government reform mandate given the Reform Act. The Senate sits this afternoon to validate the actions based on the Privy Council ruling on May 18th. There is an apathy in terms of voter turnout to local government election. We have a subconscious mindset that, well, it's only local government election. So, well, again,
that's not subconscious, Paul. That's a very real thing in that many citizens
and that's my point. My point is we constantly advocate for a change in local government action on the ground by councillors, aldermen, as is proposed in the new dispensation, and for the voting population, the electorate, to take it more seriously. So when I hear, well, it's only local government as opposed to general stakes higher, how are we going to change that mindset if we keep subconsciously reducing its importance? Richie?
Well, your first point, the first question is, we've been talking local government reform for eons in this country, and I agree with the point that local government needs to be given it's just due, and there are many people who don't see the importance of local government, but local government does play an important fact in every community that we live in, from your garbage collection, your cleaning, cemeteries, and all these different things. That they play a really important role in the upkeep of every community out there in the country. I remember when my dad was in local government, he was in South Labonte Regional Corporation in the early 90s. And when you saw the responsibilities that local government representative had on local government, the whole had for your particular region, it was mind-blowing. But people at the same time still when it comes to these things, they still want to go to the MP, and there's still that lack of authority, I think, in terms of local government, because central government still wants to retain a certain level of power and control, and local government still doesn't have the autonomy that they need. I know the government in this dispensation is saying that as part of the property tax reform, that the monies would be collected by local government authorities, so that would be used to supplement the monies that they want. But it's a long-standing thing. I don't know how easily we can change people's mindset to the importance of local government, but it does play an important role in the governance of any community. It needs to be given its just due. But again, we've been talking about this for many, many years, the whole question of local government reform, but still there's always that push and pull between central government and local government, and central government not wanting to take away, I guess, the level of control that they have over local government bodies in certain areas.
Well, I think part of the problem is that for a lot of citizens, garbage collection is garbage collection. They're not necessarily seeing it as a local government thing. They're seeing that as a necessary state thing that happens wherever you live. It may come under a regional corporation or borough, but quite frankly, citizens don't care once their garbage is collected. But I think by and large, citizens don't see the interconnect between an improving quality of life where they live and that connection to their city councils or borough councils. Because quite frankly, there are very few borough councils or regional corporations that have some coherent plan that has been articulated to the burgesses that says in 5 years, this is how your city or town is going to look. In 10 years, this is how your village is going to look. This is the plan. This is how we want it to look. This is where they're going to be jogging paths and
But Richard, local government does not have the kind of remit over those capital projects.
Don't give me that balgadash, because local government can motivate and lobby for changes, and they can collect money and can have fundraising ventures and stuff, just like our
the capital projects.
City Council. But for whatever projects that they want to do, and some of these projects you can ask businesses and communities to assist in, but people don't have confidence in the borough councils and city councils that they have their.
Well, Richard, let me just.
And it starts off with CEOs not being from the area.
Richard, let me add to what you're saying. You're absolutely correct, but guess what? The permissions, the approvals still had to go all the way back to central government. That's where you have to get your.
And that's fine, but Wendell, part of it is that they don't even have a plan.
Well, no,
to central government.
No, but Port of Spain, I know Port of Spain has a plan.
Port of Spain is the only one, and San Fernando to a certain degree.
Yeah.
You all know we have a guess, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to guess a question. Richie, you hear the discussion here, and do you really think the burgesses know about the reach and impact of local government, or is it just a program running in the back, and until my trash is not collected or I have a flood issue in the area due to a weather concern, that the local government kicks in?
My honest answer to that is, and speaking from experience, the answer is no. I think there are people who know, and then there are those who just see it as a ministry. They still go to if the road has issues, they still go to the ministry. If they have water issues, they still go to the ministry and stuff like that, and they don't see or understand the kinds of reach and authority and power that local government represents.
What reach and authority are you talking about, Rishi? There is a road that I have reported to the Arima Borough Council. It is going on over a year now. And this is in central Arima. This is not the Ministry of Works. I did it my civic duty. Nobody else reported that road, I'm sure, because people don't have any faith that the process works. But I, with my stupid self, say, Richard, do the civic duty. I called. Where do I have to report it to the Rima Borough Council? The Public Health Department. How does public health intersect with roads? I have no flipping clue. But they interconnect somehow. I made that report a year and a half ago, almost a year and a half. But let me be polite and say a year ago. Nothing has been done. So what reach you talking about, Rishi? What reach?
I can contrast that with my area where I live in San Laventil, where we've had issues on roads, and I've derelict cars that are parked up that cause a headache of traffic in the evening time when we have 3 or 4 schools close to each other that are dismissed, and it caused a backing up of traffic. And I reached out to my local government representative and the council, and within a week time, they were changes. The car was moved. It's no longer that car in that particular area. And a couple of the areas that I would have highlighted that needed to be fixed in terms of patching and whatever was done. So again,
the two things you all highlighted are diametrically opposed, right? Because you're a car, you did the right thing and you got through. But Richard's task of a road is a lot larger than removing a derelict vehicle, eh? And Richard should know that.
Reported road issues, I got them amended. So again, it goes also to, I guess, the ability of people wanting to do their work also. But that's another different story. And I guess the other question in the local government will always argue that we're starved of funds, this and the other. So there's always that argument going other ways. So I'm not saying that one is working better than the other, but we have serious issues even within local government of funding, of resources, of people wanting to do their work, and that goes beyond just local government.
There is something called vision and leadership.
Yeah.
And if you're in a leadership position, you should have a vision or motivate a vision.
That's correct.
For whatever area you represent.
That's correct. Which is why I asked Rishi, who's his counselor, if you don't mind answering.
Oh, I forgot. I forget. Her name escapes me at the moment at the time.
Is it?
But you can't remember your counselor name.
Is it Kimberly Small?
No, it's not Kimberly Small. I have a number on my phone, but to remember it offhand now, it escapes me.
Jody Johnson.
Jody, that's the name. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know the people who work. I know the people who work. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that information. Richard, who's your counselor?
I remember his name right now.
And you see, does he think?
I know my counselor because I've spoken to him several times. But I just can't remember. No, I did not report the road to him. I did it to the Arima Borough Corporation because they're the ones.
You reported it
directly to them because they're the ones in charge of dealing with, especially roads in Central Arima. So I mean, and it comes back to the issue of planning. When you go around towns and villages and cities across Trinidad and Tobago, how many people are very proud of their cities and towns and how they look? You may be proud of certain parts, but certain parts you're not proud of.
Yeah.
I mean, I go back to when I went to Cedros and Carcass. Beautiful seaside towns, seaside villages that I think have tremendous potential in being picturesque little villages in Trinidad. It just takes some work to get it to that point. But the raw ingredients are there.
It takes leadership. That's what it takes.
And I remember when Patrick Manning was in power, and I don't think Patrick Manning, I may be misquoting him, but I don't think he was a huge fan of local government. I think he felt that local government was kind of a repetition of what the state was doing.
Didn't he delay local government by some years?
So I don't think he was a huge fan. But
he tried to reform it, it didn't work.
But I remember then that the Arima Borough Council had an ad in the newspaper. This was under Manning's tenure, for a company to do a plan, like a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan of what Arima should look like. And that's what all towns, villages, whatever communities should have. People should feel proud of the places that they live.
Yeah.
They should not have to battle with dog poo, stray dogs running up and down, that if you want to walk your dog, you have to walk with a stick because you don't know if you have to fend off stray dogs coming to harass your dog and them getting in that fight. That's the quality of life. And what do Trinidadians do? Many people don't even walk their dogs in the community. They go to the parks to walk their dogs because it's just safer. And they still walk with the stick because they don't know. There are no such things as cycling lanes. Even the cycling lane around the Queen's Park Savannah is a joke.
It is.
There are no things like that about improving the quality of the lives of your citizens and where they live. And until that interconnect happens with people who represent us, I don't know how things are going to change. You having more money coming via property tax with no vision equals what?
And I'm agreeing with you there. You have to have leaders in position, and not just at the helm of the corporation, but at all the district levels too. You have to have.
You know we have a guest, right?
Yeah. No,
But I think what Richard is getting at, though, is the fact that I think I agree with this point. There's a difference between administrators, managers, and leaders. I think just this week I was watching some clip on LinkedIn around that, and the person was making the point. Yeah, managers and leaders are two separate functions. At times, a manager could be a leader, but they're still two separate and distinct ways of thinking. That a leader sees a vision and says, this is where we're going to get, and empowers people to reach that vision and get that vision. Whereas an administrator and a manager just manages day-to-day tasks and repetition and stuff like that. And I think, maybe to Richard's point, maybe within local government, many of the senior administrators, CEOs, maybe they're more administrators and managers as opposed to leaders. Right? So I guess the other question would be, where should that leadership come from?
And furthermore to that, Rishi,
that's a different discussion.
And furthermore, Rishi, the CEOs of city councils and borough councils have to be from the area. I am sorry, if you are not invested in the area and you're the one who is the accounting officer, basically, in terms of what funds are released, but you're not invested in the area, I don't trust you in terms of having the town or city at heart. I'm sorry, I don't. Local government is about being part of the area in which you live. If you are representing Arima North or whatever it is, whatever they call it, and you living in San Fernando, that makes no sense.
Rishi, on another topic, as we have you here, how much of a blow, if at all, was the judgment on May 18th to the government?
It definitely caused some embarrassment to the government in terms of the way the judgment went down and the words that were used by the justices in Privy Council in terms of the way they all went about the extending of these things. I think it was an embarrassment, definitely, to the government on a whole. I know the AG tried his best, to try to ease over the situation, but it definitely was an embarrassment to the Privy Council, to the government by what the Privy Council said.
Is it going to have any impact on the outcome of the upcoming polls?
I don't see it. For me, I think local government really it goes down to your base. As you mentioned earlier in the conversation, this voter turnout a lot in local government is generally not as high as general elections. Although we would definitely love it to be as high as general elections. So I think at the end of the day, local government, it comes down to your base and your mobilization within your communities. I think that definitely those key regional corporations that a lot of people are going to be keeping an eye on to see exactly how they swing one way or the other. But I honestly don't see the judgment having that amount of sway on the vote from this point of view, from this standpoint where we are today. I think it comes down to the way you lobby and you try to get your people to come out to vote on the day. And of course, there are always those key corporations that people keep an eye on. Sangre Grande is definitely one of them. I've heard people mention that San Fernando is another one. I don't know how much that is true, but yeah, it comes down to those key regional corporations and how the election machinery and the messaging goes out on those particular days for the election coming up.
Do you think there'll be any significant change in the allocation of corporations or the men councils, etc., even given the high profile of this government election because of the judgment and the extension, etc.? Is there going to be any significant change?
I think for now it's too early to say that. I think we need to see as the election day is announced and the campaign sits on the ground and you get to see people's feeling and get to have an idea exactly what's going on the ground at that point, and then you may be able to get a better judgment. I think right now, for me personally, it's too early.
So then what drives voting in a local? Because in general, you usually have great campaigning, propaganda machine, and one or two or three main issues, usually crime, economy, etc. Are there any issues that drive local government election, or is it just great campaigning or reaching out to your community and connecting?
I would say one is very community based, connecting with your people on the ground and talking to them and letting them see you, because obviously it's a smaller reach for corporations and councillors as opposed to a general election with constituencies. But I still see areas such as crime being an important part, because certain parts in certain communities, crimes are more important than others. So I still see crime as being an important driver in this election, as people feel unsafe. Economy, but economy more from a local point of view of what's happening in each particular community, and people be able to enjoy a better way of life. So certain parts of national scope do creep into local elections, but at least for me, I still see it as, it's really community and people being able to see and enjoy some kind of better way of life going forward, and that plays an important part in choosing, which one they want to vote with, or if they want to vote at all. Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of people out there who are still apathetic and like, you know what, I ain't going to vote, I ain't bothering, it makes no sense to me, they're going to change anything, and I'm just going to continue, going about as it is.
Richard, there were 3 recent developments within the UNC of resignations. One, the Anarima councillor, I think a Tunapuna Piako councillor, and the UNC's youth arm officer, all resigning on the cusp of the announcement of this local government elections. What type of effect do you think that will have on the UNC at all in these districts?
I don't see it having any major issues at all in those districts. I mean, whatever reasons they decide to resign, they resign. But I don't see them. I can't see right now them having a major issue and a pull. Again, like I said, it's still early days in the local government. We don't know when the date is, although I've heard something like July and sometime mid-July or something like that, but we haven't heard a date. But at least for now, I'm sure the UNC have probably been doing some kind of damage control in those constituencies and painting it in a light of why these people, switch allegiances and stuff like that. But I honestly, right now, I can't see it having a major sway in either way.
Mm-hmm. So you don't agree? You don't agree then with Dave Tanko, who said that karma will get these people who've left the UNC?
In terms of if they want to go up, if they go up against the UNC in the election, I don't see the UNC losing any of those seats in that regard. Because
the Arima district was a district held by the PNM before, and the UNC got it in a by-election. Do you see the UNC retaining that district if they put someone else? Because they would actually have taken a PNM operative who switched to the UNC, ran for the seat for the UNC, won, and now has gone back to the PNM. He's offered himself back to the PNM.
Hard to say. I feel what local government elections is. It's such diversity in it. In that, for example, I always work San Laventil because this is where I know well. Because even in San Laventil, you have different pockets of different regions. And even within those pockets of those different regions, the diversity and the way the politics plays out is totally different. I think that's one of the issues with local government and trying to call it at this stage, is that each particular district, again, I don't know the Arima district, but I'm sure in Arima, each district and each particular area that a council represents has its own unique characteristics. And to come back now and say, well, it doesn't matter, the UNC is going to hold on to that seat, I think it would be a fool of me to say that or try to predict that right now.
Do you think the third parties, either singularly or collectively, will have an impact either as winning corporation seats or being spoilers in this upcoming election?
Honestly, I don't. I know a lot of these third parties have put a lot of work, and I've seen, particularly I think it was the NTA in Diego Martin and stuff like that, and they put a lot of work into it. But honestly, from where I sit now, I don't see them having a major impact in terms of winning any seats in the election. That is subject to change as the voting and the election date is announced, and you get an idea of what's going on in each area. But right now, I don't see them having a major impact either way.
Do you think because both parties are going to claim some sorts of victories at the end of this? So I see parties are very good at spinning these days, as they always have been, quite frankly. Are the results going to be translatable to a general election in any way, or the trend toward a general election? We put it that way.
No, local elections are usually different than general elections in my mind, and I know parties will try to spin it one way or the other, that, we were able to win this amount of more seats than before, and they always like to play with numbers one way or the other, but because, again, so we're in 2023, general election in 2025, it's supposed to be in 2025, unless it's called earlier. That's a long 2-year cycle before a general election is called at the government. If they do bad, perform bad in local government, to have time to adjust and make changes to it. If it was that the general election was around the corner, like next year or thereabouts, then maybe I could say that, okay, it may have an impact on a general election, but because it's a 2-year span at least, unless it's called earlier, then I
There's nothing stopping the Prime Minister from saying the election is next year to do well in this local year.
Well, again, that's the Prime Minister's prerogative. I've seen, for example, in Spain recently, where I think the incumbent did well in some regional elections, and because of that, he's called a
Barbados, right next door.
Right, so it happens as a way to reinforce, power and control and stuff like that. But at least given it now, it's still 2 years before general. I think it's enough time for either party to do some kind of damage control or put things in place.
Yeah, 2 years is a long time. Yeah, 2 years is a long time. And in 2 years you could recover if it is that you did badly as the ruling party. I think you have enough time to recover. Of course, if you do exceedingly well, there may be an inclination, as suggested, that you may want to consider calling elections early, because you might think, well, I did so well. Obviously sentiment is on my side.
Yeah, you strike with your iron and stuff like that. But
yeah. Dr. Rowley did it during the pandemic. He didn't call it early, but he capitalized on his profile in the country and won a second term. Am I wrong? Rishi, it would be remiss of us to have you not ask you about your thoughts on the audio tape coming out of this, allegedly coming out of the Tobago House of Assembly and allegedly out of the mouth of Chief Secretary Fadi Augustine. What you think about that and its potential impact on his credibility? He ain't say nothing yet. He ain't refute, he ain't accept nothing.
Well, exactly. I think the silence is definite, because this has been on the public domain for a very long time. I mean, obviously, if it's something that wasn't attributed to you, and if it was false, you'd have come out early and say something. That's just my view. But I think, his silence says a lot in terms of maybe, I'm not saying there is or it isn't, but maybe there may be some truth to it. And if it is, then it could definitely be damaging, for this being out in the public domain and affecting the credibility. And we know, for example, what's going on in the THA with regards to the governing party or parties in terms of the relationship between the PDP and Mr. Fali, and how that has taken place. And I guess the PNM is just waiting in the wings, just quietly waiting to see exactly how this plays out. But I think his fact that it's been out there for a while and he hasn't come out definitely doesn't bode well for him. And if he does make a statement, I hope he makes it very soon, that they've crafted it in the very way. Because right now, it's from where I sit, the parties. The question is, do parties do this? I think the answer is yes. Parties do this in their internal, trying to spin one way or the other and different things like that. But now that it's out in the public domain, then his not saying anything definitely doesn't look good for him, in my view.
If he confirms it's him, what are the ramifications of that for his tenure? If he confirms it's him.
If he confirms that it is accurate and it is his voice, then the ramifications definitely. It depends how the people view it, but I think the ramifications are dire, because it goes to manipulation and spreading false lies and all these different things. And it could go to his credibility that he tried to build himself as, I am not like the other politicians, I'm different, I am, taking the politics in a different direction than where we had it in the past. It definitely shows it in a bad light.
Politicians are shown in bad light from one time in their career to another. It's a different thing when the suggestions in the audio tape are about using state money for purposes it's not designed to be useful. That's a bit more serious, isn't it?
It is a lot more serious because then you're looking at the whole idea of corruption and misuse of state funds. So it definitely, like I said, it plays the party and the leadership in a very bad way in terms of you promised us a different thing about doing things differently, and yet here you are, playing the same old games every other politicians would have done in the past. How can we trust you? Because to me, it always goes down to a level of trust. Can I continue to trust you and what you say as being the truth going forward? And that's something that is, if trust is broken, it takes a while to really regain that trust back.
Can he wait this out? Is waiting and staying silent and hoping it goes away an option?
If he's using the 10-day mentality of people, I don't think he can, because it's there, it's the public domain, and your detractors and everybody else are going to keep bringing it up over and over and over and over. So I think he can't wait it out. I think it definitely has to say something now and try to meet this head on, because by staying silent, I think it just continues to make it look bad.
Well, going away in 10 days is one thing, but in this political environment, your political opponents are going to bring it up over and over again.
Exactly. You can't stay quiet. You definitely can't stay quiet. You have to, like I said, it's been out for a while now, and the silence is deafening. So, it's the age of social media, so the clips is going to be played over and over again. They're going to put it on their platforms, and then they're going to be calling on you. Is this you? Can you say what went on here? So I think he definitely, he and his leadership can't stay quiet. They have to come out and say something.
Will you be willing to take a couple of calls? Our audience usually has some interesting questions and comments that you can explain. Is that possible for you?
I have until 8.
Okay. The numbers are
222-8255, North American, toll-free number 866-525-1099. All right, that's our numbers directly into our studio. Of course, and it's a message via our message board as well. On both YouTube, as we stream video on YouTube, and on our platforms, our mobile app and website.
Yeah. So for the conversation, we're talking local government, and we're talking, just talked Fali last time. So you can weigh in on how you see local government and the issue of international observers, all of that. My counselor's name is Kendall Charles. It came to me suddenly.
Kendall Charles, yes, that's your counselor. Kendall is a hard worker.
Yes. I mean, when I have spoken to him, he has been helpful.
Yeah.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen. Is the gentleman there to tell me who to go to concerning bat? Because I went to the department, they sent me to agriculture sent me back to the
No, he can't.
No, he can't tell you who to go to concerning bats. That is a regional corporation.
Thank you.
He's a political analyst, Ms. Sampson, not a bat specialist.
Well, there's your public health department. You can check out the public health department first of all.
She answering yes.
Well, like I said, my dad was a counselor for many years, so I used to read all his books and everything. And all
if he was wrong, he can.
Yes, to the department.
You can check public health for bats and roads.
I think Ms. Sampson have all the problems.
Which one of the 14 municipal corporations do you think will be the battleground in this local government election? Because there's always one.
Well, I said Sandy Grande. I know Sandy Grande was interested in the last local election and stuff like that. I know Sandy Grande for sure is going to be a definite battleground. I've heard talks of San Fernando. I don't know how true that is. I know that there are pockets of it that exist in San Fernando. But at least for now, definitely I think Sandy Grande is going to be an interesting look because of the wide and the scope of Sandy Grande. In terms of it's spread across different constituencies and stuff like that. I think Sandy Grande is really going to be interesting to see how that one plays out for sure.
All right, we have another call. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Just two questions for you, I guess. The first one has to do with persons who left the UNC and gone across to the PNM. I believe one of them being is alleged Dave Tanku, campaign manager, and also has one or two councillors, right? Does that indicate, because if it is that UNC is convinced that they are in a winning situation, those persons of such prominence would leave from a winning party, will propose to another party that they suspect would lose? And second, how does a few persons from within the regional corporations led by the UNC that have allegations of corruption, and some of them being charged but still occupying office, how does that impact upon in terms of the persons who are proposing to vote? Will that have an impact upon those when the campaign actually gets into full flight? Right?
Yeah. I didn't quite follow the second question. You would have responded already to the first part, the first one, in terms of those factors.
Well, I think so. I think secondly talking about the fact that, and if memory serves me right, there have been accusations of corrupt activity, I think, in some corporations or by some members of some corporation. I can't remember which I think it's Sandy Grande, but I could be wrong. I think his questions are that if the accusations exist about them being under corruption and the ability of them to still serve in their capacity now, and the impact that may have on voters going forward, because I'm sure that is definitely going to come out on the campaign trail in those particular areas where the other parties are going to zone in on the fact that these people were charged for corruption and corrupt activity and paint them in a bad light. So and use that as ammunition to say, well, to the voters, can you trust them, to work for you and given all these things? So definitely, it being not resolved, definitely, hampers their ability or the party's ability in those particular areas to go forward, especially if it is that they're chosen to go back up again as potential candidates. So it definitely puts an interesting spin on the way the campaign is going to take place in those particular areas.
Okay. All right. We're taking your calls, 222-TALK, 222-8255. Our guest is analyst Rishi Maharaj. And we're talking politics. We're talking local government. We're talking THA too in a kind of way. Because Fali has just not surfaced. It's almost like he's disappeared. Richard may see him though when he goes there with Little Piggy on the weekend. Richard, because he'll have to come. Richard, the top man in the THA has to attend Little Piggy.
I don't know. He doesn't have to.
Yeah. Don't you have 2 seats assigned for him already?
No.
It don't work like CB.
But Central Bank?
Yeah. That 2 seats are automatically assigned?
2 seats are not automatically assigned. Several seats.
Okay, well, look at that.
You can't sell.
Look at that.
Because it's reserved for whomever the institution wants to give those seats.
All right, we have just about 5 minutes left to take some of your calls.
Yeah, we do have a couple of minutes again. So 222-8255, toll-free North Americans, 866-525-1099. All right, we do have political analyst Rishi Maharaj. Mo Guest is saying Richard, my counsel, doesn't even live in the area, far less the CEO.
Well, as I said, whilst I understand the need to have a representative live in an area, I successfully represented St. James, because that's where I'm from, for years whilst not living there. I spent all my days there, you understand, but I didn't sleep in St. James. I didn't live in St. James for a lot of the years that I represented them. And I didn't think it have a better counselor than me ever passed through St. James. And I'm saying that with an open boast.
But Wendell, you're from the area.
Yes, I am.
Bottom line, you're from the area.
You have connections and family and businesses in the area.
Correct.
So it gives you an interest in what happens in the area. But there's some that don't have any connection to the area at all.
Yeah,
and
correct.
And if you are a CEO and you have no connection to the area at all, I don't trust your decisions for the betterment of Arima. Call me cynical. I don't care,
Yeah.
but that's how I see it.
So Wendell,
You have
let's
no
say you go,
passion.
let's go San Fernando East.
I don't think you have a passion for the area if you are not from the area.
I hear you on that. I hear you on that. And you must have some connection to the area. You're right.
Exactly. That's my case on point.
But some people dwell on the fact that, well, yeah, you living there, but you have connection there. You have a connection, you know.
Yeah, Rishi, I want to say anything before we wrap up this morning.
Well, from a local government point of view, I think people need to know who their representatives are. I think they need to see and understand, the services that are available from local government. So I'll always employ everybody who's listening, to look at that and to really, keep as the elections coming up on the board, focus on what the issues are to you, and whichever candidate or party represents your interest, then you vote for them. And I'm not saying one party or the other, but you need to know exactly what you want for your community, what you want for yourself in your area, and use that as your guide in terms of deciding, which particular entity you want to cast your vote for.
All right. Well, thank you, Rishi Maharaj, for joining us on the Power.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Always a pleasure, Rishi.
Yeah, for the conversation.
You think the Prime Minister will call the date this week?
I hope so. It'll be good. So at least we don't have no more guesses going on. I think the quicker we have a date announced, the quicker, the party can begin. With regards to local government, as my wife said, the noise can begin with all the noise and the partner, the music and the trucks and everything like that. It can begin again.
And we did ask a poll last week. Where you think that election dates should be fixed? What are your thoughts on that?
I think definitely I am for that. I think election dates definitely should be fixed. I know it's something that was done I think in the UK, for example, for their general elections where they passed a law, I think, when Cameron became Prime Minister, that these dates should be fixed and allocated for, so people know exactly when it is, so you have a way to work out it. Because I think the days are gone where Prime Minister sarcastically putting a hand in the back pocket and saying, I have the date to pull out for you. I think now we've gone beyond those days now in a modern democracy. I think having set dates or time frames for elections should be there for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
All right.
Totally. All right. Well, Rishi, I want to thank you so much for being with us and spending some time with us this morning.
No problem at all.
All right. All the best to you. Take care.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Of course, that was political analyst Rishi Maharaj speaking with us this morning regarding local government elections, a little touch on Tobago as well.
Well, today there's going to be debate in the Senate concerning that validation bill. That's my name for it. That is legitimizing the operations of local government from December to May, and then elections to be held by no later than August 18th. Tomorrow, the PNM is having a public meeting in Malabar. So I suspect, well, the PNM's campaign has started. It's obvious. You understand? Last week they were in San Fernando, and today, tomorrow they will be in Malabar Community Center. I suspect, as I said, after the bill goes through the Senate, that we'll get the date for local government elections. And it'll be a campaign of no more than 35 days. That's how I see it. You understand? So I'm thinking middle of July, you'll probably get the election, because the councils have expired. The only person in charge of councils right now are the mayors and the chairman. They have the decision making power.
So you mean there are no meeting of councils again?
No, there won't be any meetings. At least I confirmed that yesterday with Minister Faris Alwari, because the Port of Spain Corporation was supposed to have their monthly statutory meeting today. And he responded to me, no meeting. The councils have expired. That was his response to me. So I'm assuming that nobody can have the mayors can certainly conduct the meeting. You understand? The mayors can certainly conduct any meeting that he or she desires. Right? They will still be accountable
together with the chief executive officers and so on, to ensure
So the
that
councillors, so the councillors have all demitted office. Is that what you're saying?
that's how I interpreted what he said.
Is this as of May 18th?
Yes, That's how I interpreted it.
So no decisions can be made by councillors and aldermen to do anything as of May 18th.
Well, the mayors, I said, mayors and chairmen can continue to do whatever decisions needs to be taken. They can continue to do so. All right? Because they remain in office until a new mayor or chairman is elected, is appointed to office. The mayors and chairmen remain in office. So they will be in charge of the corporations during the campaign period, everything. Councillors and aldermen are not required to go into any meetings and so on.
Yeah. But I guess and the CEO who will direct the day-to-day operations, garbage collections, etc.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen, I got to run into a news.